Hello. So it has been nearly 2 years since I started my journey. I started in March 2023 and it's now February 25. So just wanted to give a little update on where I am at the moment. Officially, the Invisalign treatment finished a while back now, after Christmas. And we were just kind of correcting the bite a little bit over Christmas and the adjustment there, and then we're waiting to have the fixed braces put in. But let me take kind of like a little bit of a step back. So my previous video, I had the fixed braces in this part, and kind of they done everything they needed to do. They moved the roots, they closed the gap slightly, but then once that had finished, I needed to have the implant put in. The implant was actually put in on Halloween, so that was very apt. There was, I think, a fair bit of blood that I wasn't really expecting, and from previous videos you'll probably know I absolutely hate the dentist. It's quite it's just horrible. So the thought of having someone drill into my jaw, kind of cut open my gum, was horrible anyway. It wasn't a nice experience. They kind of like put some metal brackets to hold back my lips and my mouth so they could get in, and I could feel the metal object just kind of like pushing into my jaw. So at one point they then removed that, they carried on. I could feel bits of bone and jaw kind of flying everywhere. I could feel like what I thought was saliva at the time running down my face. There was actually blood, because there was blood on they put like aprons and paper around, but there was actually blood on the top that I was wearing when I got home, and there was blood all kind of, they'd wiped me a little bit but not fully wiped me. So when I got home I could see there was still like a blood stain kind of like coming down here. So as I say, very apt for Halloween. At one point as well, the kind of like the anaesthetic wore off. So I was kind of like flinching a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, okay, can you feel that?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's starting to feel a bit like a nerve feeling." So they gave me more injections and they put them into the roof of my mouth. I don't know if they put more in than they initially did or just different places, but the second lot of injections really hurt. They just sound like I'm being a big baby with it, but yeah, I did find it quite traumatic. The healing process was okay. I used a special mouthwash, I think it was twice a day, for 4 weeks. They were really happy with the healing process. It went really well. The gum healed to where it needed to be. I did have stitches, and they gave like a little bit of a weird sensation, because obviously stitches kind of like sticking up into your lip. The weirdest thing for me was though, I guess there'd been quite a lot of trauma to that part of my mouth. It constantly felt like, if I went like that, it constantly felt like there was a huge bogey stuck up my nose. There was nothing there, like I'd try blowing my nose, but I guess it's just the trauma. And that probably went on for about 4 to 6 weeks. See, it eased over time, but it just felt really bizarre, like there was something stuck up my nose. But the good news is, obviously by Christmas, that was all fine, and the only thing we needed to do was finish off correcting up the bite. They did say I could finish my Invisalign treatment before Christmas, but the bite, I can't remember if it is my top or my bottom teeth, weren't aligned properly. So they're like, you've come this far, you may as well get perfect teeth, perfect healthy teeth at the end of it. So yeah, we spent that time, and I think it was 9 weeks, just correcting the bite. It was extended slightly because of Christmas, and they had their closures. So it wasn't until the beginning of January that I was able to go back in, have the Invisalign officially finished, and have the fixed permanent braces put in behind the teeth. So I'll be able to show you the bottom ones, probably won't be able to show you the top ones, but they're exactly the same. So with the top teeth, the wire is behind the top paw, and then on the bottom is behind the bottom 6 teeth instead. So that's something that is there for life, hopefully. And we don't, unless they think they can occasionally break, but you would just get them repaired. What we had to do is once the wires were in, they had to kind of cut out my old Invisalign so that they would fit around the wire, because obviously where I haven't got the crown fitted for the implant yet, there was a gap. They didn't want the teeth to move too much, and also I need they didn't want to make up my retainers for nighttime either, so they had to get the Invisalign to kind of like just work with those wires on a temporary basis. So they took more scans, and kind of 2 weeks later I was able to go back, pick up the new trays. I had about 9 of them, and that's at the point where I started the whitening as well. So the whitening I found to be quite a tedious process, and I'm not even overly sure that it's really done much. I'll give you a closer look at the teeth in a minute. It has brightened them. I think the top teeth are definitely brighter than the bottom teeth, but I still wouldn't go as far as saying they're white. And I know with the whitening kits, they'll only typically go up to at best B1 shade, which is the whitest they can get naturally, unless you're going for kind of like the Hollywood white smell, which I definitely wouldn't want anyway. I think it's probably more realistic that I'll get to an A1 shade, which sounds kind of as if it's better than B1, but it's not. B1's the best, and then A1 is the second best. But yeah, it is quite a tedious process because you do it every night. After you've brushed your teeth, you kind of like have to dry your teeth, and you have to put this gel into your I'm still using the Invisalign trays, but you may get other trays made up especially, but you just put that in, and then there's this horrible like acid taste in your mouth. So even though you try and wipe away any excess, which I don't believe there's really any excess there, I still just have that horrible feeling in my mouth and horrible taste. I tend to find that I get a dry throat as well, and I don't know if that's anything to do with the chemicals that are going into the Invisalign, or if it's just psychological, or the way I'm sleeping, because I'm aware that I've got the chemicals in my mouth. So I'm not overly keen on ever doing it again, in all honesty, but I think I'm at the end of this treatment process now, so I may as well just do everything as prescribed and see what the end result will be. So that kind of takes us up to now. And I've just been back to the dentist this morning, and what we've done is taken the impressions for the crown. And yeah, they have said that the kind of crown gets made up over the next week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in just over a week's time, I'll be going back to have the crown fitted. And then it should be completely finished. The only thing I'll need to have done then is to have, I think, one more final scan just to make up the retainers. But yeah, we're nearly there with it, which is absolutely amazing. I should say with the whitening as well, I've been using Sensodyne toothpaste. I started using that 2 weeks before I started the whitening, just because apparently whitening can cause quite sensitive teeth. I didn't have it when I was using the 10% solution, but as soon as I started using the stronger 16% solution, definitely hot and cold, a little bit of sensitivity. So by starting the Sensodyne early, apparently it helps to reduce the sensitivity of your teeth, and I haven't suffered too badly with that, which is quite good. So I'll pop the braces out. So I haven't got any on the bottom teeth. This is my teeth. So they should be nice and straight. Again, going back to the whitening, I've still got about a week left of the whitening to do. And they're okay. I think they're definitely more yellow than the top teeth, but I'll pop up the top braces now anyway. So you see the Pontic still in there. And then this is the gap. But if we kind of just avoid thinking about the gap too much, because in just over a week's time, that crown should be in there. Yeah, I think the top teeth definitely look a lot brighter, and they're so much straighter. And going back to that first video, my teeth, I had that horrible midline shift where I had that tooth taken out when I was much younger, and then over time the teeth shifted over there. So this tooth just horribly just sat in the middle. So whenever I smiled, the only thing I could see, and probably others as well, is just this one giant tooth just in the middle. So now the fact that, okay, yes, I got this gap here, but now I can smile and it's a normal smile. And it's not just a normal smile. The dentist has also commented on how happy he is that the orthodontists corrected my bite as well. He said so many orthodontists just straighten teeth and don't think about the bite. They don't think about the health of the teeth, and the fact that they're a really, really good team. They work very collaboratively together. They discuss things like even the whitening dentist was saying that she'd make sure she'll text the dentist who's getting the crown made up just to talk about the shades and everything that we wanted from that. But so much better. So it leaves us now with just having to do get the crown fitted. So the next video that I create should hopefully be with the crown in place. I'm really hoping that it will look symmetrical to this side. That's what I really, really wanted to do. I don't want it to be kind of fang-like, because that's kind of why I ended up having the tooth out when I was a teenager, because it didn't look nice. I should have just had braces then, would have avoided this whole journey. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased that I've done it. The only thing I'd probably say about today, where I went in to have the impressions taken for the crown, I wasn't expecting to be kind of like fiddled around with quite so much. They had to unscrew, I don't know if you can see, there's like a little metal cap. So they had to unscrew that. And then once he unscrewed that, he had to put in this rod, and that was all for the scan, so the people making up the crown could see where the crown will be fitted. And that kind of like pinched a little bit, and I was like, why is this pinching? Short, like it's just going into my jaw, and my jaw shouldn't really have any sensation. But apparently what he said afterwards is the second you take that cap off, the gum wants to close in, so it's trying to already close over the hole. So I guess where he was doing that, he was just catching my gum a little bit. So I don't quite know. I was expecting the crown, maybe I'm being a bit naive, but I was expecting the actual crown fitting to be pain-free. But I would assume maybe that's going to involve a little bit of gum manipulation, pulling the gum back a little bit, and letting the gum kind of like sit around the crown. I'm probably not going to look it up. I'm just going to go in, and if it's pain-free, fantastic, but just prepare myself for a little bit of uncomfortable feeling around that area. But yeah, I am very, very happy, and it's nice to have almost what I see as normal teeth. And yeah, I can't wait to just completely finish this journey and not have to keep worrying about taking the Invisalign out to eat, the whole whitening the teeth and drying the teeth. The whole journey's just been very, very long, but very much worth it. And would encourage anybody in the same situation to look into it. Definitely go and have a consultation. I think it would very much rely on the skill of the orthodontic practice that you use. I will share afterwards which dentist that I've been using, but for the moment I'll just wait until everything's kind of like finished and I'm happy with the end results. But I've got very, very good dentists and orthodontists, and they come kind of like well recommended, and they've won lots of awards as well. And they have said that my case is quite complex, because not only are we straightening the teeth and correcting the bite, we are having to replace a tooth as well. So hopefully for most people they wouldn't have such a high level of kind of intervention, but for those of you who have a very similar situation to me, which is the reason why I wanted to create these videos in the first place, to kind of give people an honest journey of whether it can or can't be done, because I couldn't find anyone out there with the same issue as me, with that midline shift and the missing tooth. But yeah, I would encourage anyone who thinks they want to go down this route to find a really, really good team. Don't don't think you can do it with these online companies. Don't just go with the cheapest option or the closest option to home. Really do your research, really find out where the best place is. And if it means having to travel, just have a think. How much do you want your teeth straightened, and how much do you want healthy teeth for the rest of your life? And if the answer is it's one of the most important things to me, it's really going to affect my confidence and just everything else, then I would say just go for it. There are obviously cost implications to having dental treatment done as well. I always put everything on a price plan. So initially with the Invisalign, I put that onto one repayment package through the dentist themselves, so that was interest free, and that was nice because I knew I just had to pay a certain amount every month that I could budget for and knew I could afford. And that I think was for 14 months. So after 14 months that was paid off. I had about a couple of months gap before I had to start the same thing with the implant repayment as well. So obviously, yeah, it takes money away from you every month, but I would recommend doing it that way unless you've got kind of like savings that you've been putting aside to pay for it. It's most likely going to be more expensive than you think it is. So look into interest-free plans with whatever practice you are using. See what they can do for you. But yeah, I shall see you all hopefully next time with a complete smile. Thank you.